I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurrundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Good morning, happy Friday, happy start on another reading vlog. I thought I would do a little bit of filming while I'm at work, but there'll only be a couple of short clips and then I will talk to you guys a little bit later about the theme for this reading vlog. So I hope everyone's doing well, and in case anyone wants my outfit of the school day for Friday. I'm kind of in love with this skirt. Hi everyone, I'm home now. Apologies for the terrible lighting. I haven't really put anything else on because I've just had dinner and I'm gonna jump in the shower and do things. But on my way home tonight, I did manage to pick up my new glasses, so I'm very excited, and I have 3 pairs of glasses. They're all different colors. Woo! And yeah, today was a day I'm really tired. I got most of the things done before I left that I needed to, but my glasses came in, so I had to leave early to go pick them up. Which means I'll probably duck in tomorrow to get all of the photocopying and things done for the week, and a few other little jobs that I didn't get done before I left, just so I can go into next week and feel slightly less stressed, because, you know, that was a very hectic week one. And the kids were great. I loved seeing them back. They were really gorgeous. But yeah, it's just a lot. So even though it's terrible lighting, I have, well, these are kind of bluey. These are kind of a bluish pair. And these ones, which I really love, are sort of a pinkish purplish blue. So I'm excited. Anyway, the prescription is actually not different to what I was currently wearing. So I don't have to adjust to new glasses. They're just new frames, which is perfect. Although, can we just talk about this glasses case? Like, don't know how I'm gonna put that in a bag and go anywhere. Anyway, before I jump into the shower and, you know, get ready to sit on the couch and read, I thought I should probably tell you what my theme is. I've been hinting at this one for a while. I'm going to be reading 3 contemporary romances, all featuring doctors, because I kept getting recommended books about doctors. So I don't know how I'm going to go with this, because I typically don't read books with doctors. I have read some, but, you know, not a stack. Anyway, but the Bonkers Romance podcast had recommended The Worst Guy by Canterbary. I had seen The Potter by Kristy Marie recommended, and then I also stumbled across another one on KU, Dr. Heartless by Saman. So I figured I would try them and just, you know, make it a thing. So I will be starting with The Worst Guy, which happens to be clearly book 2 in a series, but, you know, it's not like I pay attention to a series when it's contemporary. There's Dr. Heartless by Saman, also part of a series. This time we're book 3, so we're clearly jumping all over the place here. And The Potter by Kristy Marie, which thankfully does not look to be part of a series. So those are my weekend reading plans. I can't remember if I've showed this in a previous vlog, so I do take notes while I'm reading, because this then goes into the reading spreadsheet. It just means I don't have to have my computer open while I'm reading. And what I've started doing, particularly with ebooks, is going through the book description, because quite often a lot of the tropes come through in here, so it makes it a lot quicker to get started. But yes, now I'm going to start reading The Worst Guy by Canterbary. Okay, I'm only 5% of the way in, but I just wanted to stop and go, these are my people in this book, because both the hero and the heroine are hardcore introverts. Already they're complaining about how much time they have to spend around other people, and I can totally relate, especially after this week. Yes, I'll check in after I've read a little bit more, but I just wanted to mention both of them hardcore introverts, and I totally feel that. Alrighty, so I blinked and I'm 23% of the way through this book. It's actually very compulsively readable, and I'm enjoying it. So you have 2 doctors, one who works in trauma surgery and one who is a reconstructive surgeon. And we open the book, we get to know both of them. We know that they're both introverts. We know that they don't like peopling. They are really good at their jobs, and they don't like each other. And Sarah, who is the reconstructive surgeon, comes down to find Sebastian, who is the trauma surgeon, because she has taken on one of his patients and she has a complaint for him that he used staples for this woman's face, and his response is, you know, she was dying. She had plenty of other things going wrong. Stapling her face was the fastest way to stop that particular injury so they could, you know, deal with the very severe life-threatening injuries that this woman had. We don't really know that much more details about her. Anyway, they're having this argument in one of the emergency room areas, and Sarah ends up pulling down one of the poles, which creates this giant mess and ruins one of the surgery rooms. And they've been screaming at each other. So now they've both been ordered into counselling and conflict resolution, and I'm really liking the doctor who is in charge of it, because it's someone from the hospital, it's one of their most senior psychologists, and she's, you know, getting them to talk through things or yell at each other. So far they've had 2 appointments with Melina, and the first one she set them with the task of going out and having a meal and learning things about each other, which they barely do. And they come back in the next session, she's having them throw balls at each other. They're not allowed to drop, and she's asking them questions about the other person, and the answers were just hilarious. Like, they loathe each other so much. But anyway, I've just gotten to the point where they live in the same building. So they both have apartments in the same building and they work at the same hospital, and they've just had this, you know, horrible day after yelling at each other in the counsellor's office. And then they effectively have hate sex, and it's great. They have heaps of chemistry, and all the things that they loathe about each other are traits that they have themselves. I'm very curious to see how this plays out, because I really like them both. They're both really prickly as well. It's kind of Grumpy Sunshine, except you have the grumpy hero and the heroine is a reformed people pleaser, you know, the good girl with the inner bitch. And that's what she refers to herself as. And it's totally true. And I totally relate to that. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. So I am done with The Worst Guy, and I really enjoyed that. That was fun. It was just fun, and I feel like, you know, the sort of the first 60% you're really dealing with this enemies to lovers griping sort of relationship, and then Sebastian and Sarah accidentally end up vacationing in the same place. They legitimately had no idea they were going to the same place, and they have this ceasefire, and it's just great because they actually start talking to each other like human beings, and they start to actually get to know one another. And I will say there are content warnings in this book for absent and also toxic parents, particularly fathers, and both the hero and the heroine experience chronic illnesses of some kind. For Sebastian, he deals with migraines, and there's at least one instance on page where he's dealing with that, and Sarah has inflammatory gastric disorders, and that's from years of disordered eating. So that is a huge thing for her, and eating is a huge thing for her, and that's discussed in quite a bit of detail, because she talks him through what's going on in her head when she eats, and she doesn't like going out with other people because she has to eat with them, and that's really stressful for her. So there are mentions of that in this book. I thought it was well done. I don't have personal experience with, well, I have experience with migraines, but I don't have personal experience with with any of the other issues. But it was good. And I really liked the characters, and I was rooting for them even when they were doing silly things and were almost in that self-destructive mode. I liked them, and I wanted them to get their HEA. You could just tell these were two characters that if they could get out of their own way, it would totally be worth it for them. Also, I don't think I mentioned earlier, they are older, so they're 39 and 42 respectively, which I just really like seeing in books now. And yeah, the hospital stuff didn't bother me. Like, there's a lot of hospital talk and things like that, but you know, I got away with it. I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't read this one, I think it's worth checking out. I am not going to start another book tonight because I need to finish up my filming notes for tomorrow, because tomorrow morning I will have Pilates and I will have filming, and then I'll need to go into work at some point. But then I'm probably going to pick up The Potter first, and then I'll see if I can get 2 books done tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see how I go. I probably won't do another check-in tonight, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. I'm about to start filming for the day, but I'm gonna just come on here and admit I did not go to Pilates this morning because I woke up after having a terrible night's sleep and just I couldn't get out of bed. I'm so tired and so exhausted. So this is a little bit of real talk. It's very hard to get motivated at the moment because I really wanted to go and I just couldn't. So I'm gonna get my filming done. I'm gonna go into work, and hopefully that'll, like, all of that will be a little bit earlier so that I can come back home and I can just chill out, because yeah, my brain is not doing what I would like it to do today, or just be in the mood for what I would like it to do today. I'm going to do this filming. I've got 5 videos that I'm filming for various points throughout the month today, and yeah, then we will continue with the day. Getting ready to film. I'm so happy with how these bookshelves turned out. Like, I now have 2 shelves of Nalini Singh. But having all my romance books in front of me is quite nice. All right, so I just finished filming all my videos for today. So what did I film? I filmed this week's Books Beside My Bed video. I filmed my April members favorites video. I filmed my May TBR. I filmed a video called 5 Paranormal Romance Series that I think everyone should read. And also an A to Z of romance books part 1, which for that one, my iPad died, so I had to use my phone for my notes, which is not particularly usual for me. So yes, now that that's done, I'm gonna have something very quickly to eat, and then I think I'm gonna run up to school, do all of that stuff, and come home hopefully by 1 o'clock. And then I'm gonna hopefully start the Potter. That is my goal. Everyone, so I was pretty good on my word. I got home at 1:05, which was great. Also, these are some of the new glasses. I don't know how well the colour's coming up, but they're pretty fun. These are the blue and purple ones. Anyway, I got home, I did everything that I needed to get done. All the copies are done, so hopefully you guys saw some of that. I have just put some laundry on and I'm about to start reading, but it's like 20 to 2 now, but I wanted to watch Heather's video on Romancelandia and toxic feminism, which I will leave linked down below for everyone, which is a really fantastic discussion that we should be having all the time. So definitely go check that out. She has a live show that's happening this weekend, so it will have already happened by the time this video goes up, but if I remember, I will leave a link to that down below as well. I'll miss it because I'll be asleep, but I will catch up with it later this weekend. So anyway, I'm going to dive into The Potter by Kristy Marie, this one, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. All right, so I'm nearly 20% of the way in, and this is the story of Hallie, who is a woman who has gone to a reconstructive surgeon for help with some scars. We know that something's happened. She's got scars and she was injured for a while, but we don't have all the details on her story yet. I am assuming at this point it has something to do with a previous relationship and possibly an abusive boyfriend, but I don't know. She goes to see Dr. Potter, who is renowned for reconstructive surgery, and we open the book with him turning her down, and she is livid and she lets it rip at him in the office, and he turns her down, and in the end she ends up staying in town despite the fact that she's traveled across the country on a bus to get this appointment that she's had to save for months. And she is determined to find a way to get on his surgery schedule, and so she sticks around in town. She gets a job at the local supermarket, and there she meets Vance's older brother, Asta, who happens to be another surgeon in the plastic surgery practice that Vance and Asta and their third brother Duke have together. Asta hires her as his secretary because he knows that there's something going on with his brother. Vance has been taking consultations but hasn't been scheduling surgeries in a year, and we know that there is a potential lawsuit hanging over his head, and he's been advised to take the matter to court, but he doesn't want to do that, and yet he's sort of spiraling. He is not doing well, and Asta is hoping to elicit a reaction from him by hiring the woman who didn't take his rejection lying down. I'm very intrigued to find out exactly what's going on, because we have sort of hints at these two people's stories but not the details, and I just want to know what's going on. But I'm beginning to wonder if that, you know, I'm pretty sure all 3 of these books that I've picked are Grumpy Sunshine Doctor romances, so that could be the subtitle for this week's vlog. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading. Okay, so I just finished The Potter, and I did find out more information about, you know, all the backstories. So I'm going to put spoilers on the screen and I'll timestamp it and everything, just because I want to talk about what happened to Hallie. And I'm going to content warning this for, you know, horrific injuries. So she was trying to get her drunk boyfriend out of a car and she slipped and he drove over her and left her with crush injuries from her hips and her legs, and basically she had a total hip reconstruction. So the reason she wanted to see Dr. Potter was to have those scars revised, and his trauma comes from the fact that he lost a patient, and it wasn't on the table, but it was post-operatively, and the patient was one of his best friends, and his best friend had an undiagnosed condition, so that when they administered pain relief, he went into cardiac arrest because they didn't know about the underlying condition. His best friend's wife is suing him for negligence, and you know, the whole thing is just, but anyway, so that's what happened. And now that we've got that out of the way, I really enjoyed this book. I'm not going to comment here on the veracity of the representation of lawyers or lawsuits or medical practice at all. I think there's an author's note at the start of the book that even just says she's taken liberties with this story for the sake of the story, so that's something to be aware of. But I did end up really enjoying it. Vance is, you know, really, you know, not dealing with the fact that his best friend died, and he's totally taken on the blame for that, even though it was not something that they had foreseen. And he's taking out that guilt on everyone around him. And quite literally, Hallie is the only one who gets any kind of emotional response from him. And eventually he does agree to do her surgery, mostly because his brother Duke offers to do the surgery and Vance refuses to let his brother do it. And so he has to, you know, follow through. Along the way, he and Hallie become quite close, and they begin to share what it is that has gotten them to this point. And eventually, you know, he's the one who takes her in and looks after her post-operatively, and of course being self-destructive because at this point he hasn't resolved the issue of the lawsuit. You know, he takes that out on her, and he wants her to be able to move on, and he thinks that she can't do that while staying with him, which of course doesn't work out for either of them. This one is definitely a Grumpy Sunshine story, and Vance, look, he's a bit of a caveman, and I would totally not accept that in real life, but it makes for an interesting story in terms of how Hallie deals with that, because she calls him on it all the time. She doesn't accept it. She doesn't take it lying down. When he's being a dick, she tells him that he's being a dick. So I appreciated that greatly, because despite the fact that, you know, she has been in a position where she's been hurt by men before, she is not someone who's going to stand by and let that happen again. And she knows her worth. She loves him and she understands where he's coming from, but she also understands that he can't work through it with her sticking around. And there's a really cool little side character called Remington, who is a 17-year-old boy who Hallie meets at the motel where she's staying in Texas. And he's only in these tiny little scenes, but he is fiercely protective of her. And in the epilogue, you get a little bit of a story about how the relationship between all three of them have progressed, and he's constantly threatening Vance, which I find hilarious. I'm really kind of sad that this is a standalone, because I would really like stories for Duke and for Asta, the brothers, because the whole little cast of them, they were really fascinating characters. I'm going to do a few things around here and figure out what I want to do for dinner, and then I will probably read the third book tonight, and then this will be like a 30-hour reading vlog. So I'm about to start Dr. Heartless, and I was reading through the blurb so that I could get the keywords to put down on my notes. Anyway, sorry, my face is red because I've just been in the shower and taken off all my makeup and everything. Anyway, the synopsis of it has quite a few keywords in there. Okay, so this is supposedly a grumpy billionaire single dad doctor romance after a one-night stand, wherein the one-night stand turns out to be his new neighbor, and she also happens to be his daughter's teacher at school. And I'm okay 100% with all of that, except for the last one, which I'm hoping is done well. Otherwise I'm going to cringe really badly, because sleeping with the parent of one of your students, I don't know about that. So fingers crossed it's okay. So I'm still eating Anzac cookies a week after Anzac Day, because Anzac cookies are an all year round cookie. But anyway, I'm 14% of the way into Dr. Heartless, and the book opens with Elle, who walks out on her husband in the middle of the night because he is verbally abusive and not the man that she thought she was marrying. And then we meet Landon, who is a doctor and is a widower, and he's going out to a bar and having a night out for himself, but everyone at the bar recognizes him as his twin brother, Luca, and he doesn't bother to correct anyone's assumption because he just wants a night of anonymity, which is kind of hard to come by because he's part of a family of doctors who are very well known and famous in the town. Anyway, so he meets Stella at the bar. They have a one-night stand. She has mistakenly overheard him being called Luca, so She assumes that's his name and he doesn't correct it. They have a great night, go their separate ways, and then cut to the next day when Stella has just moved into her new rental property and someone knocks on her door with one of her boxes that's been delivered to the wrong address, and it is Landon. And of course she gets very mad that he has lied about his identity, and then she gets sort of a love attack from his younger brother's ginormous dog Gulliver, which honestly, we like dogs, so more dogs in books. We've also met Landon's teenage daughter. Damn it, I think I just said that the female protagonist's name was Stella. Stella is Landon's daughter. So yes, I'm going to keep reading and I'm going to eat my Anzac cookie. So I just switched glasses because I'm trying to wear both of the glasses today and just rotate them through. These ones are much bigger frames. Anyway, I just remembered a funny story from yesterday afternoon that I think I forgot to share with you. So I was telling all of the kids that I would have new glasses next week, and that I was getting 2 new pairs and they would be different colours, and they wanted to know what colours they were because of course they're 5 and they want to know what colours everything is. So I told them, I said I've got a blue pair, I've got a purple pair, and I'll still have my red pair because I can still wear my red pair. And of course, one little very helpful friend in the front row says, Miss Galvin, you should wear them like a pattern. So wear your red pair, then wear your blue pair, then wear your purple pair, then wear your red pair. And it went on for a little while, which, you know, that's a proud teacher moment because, you know, we taught patterns last term, so they've clearly remembered something and it's stuck with them. So bless their dear little hearts. But anyway, that is totally not at all related to this book, but it just reminded me when I went to get my glasses and swap them over because it was very sweet. They're like, no, you should wear them in a pattern, because they were like, how will you know which pair you're going to wear on any day? Like, I'll just match it to my outfit. Alrighty, so I finished Dr. Heartless, and again, that was pretty fun. So I didn't end up minding the fact that Elle was Landon's daughter's teacher. I like the relationship that she had with Stella. It was really sweet and it was fun. I mean, there was this weird sort of plot line running through it where her twin sister, and as it turns out, both the main characters are twins. I don't know what it is actually. Recently I've read a lot of books with characters who are twins. Just seems to be a thing at the moment. I can't remember a time when I read this many books with twins in like a short period of time. It's like in the last month or so I've read a whole stack of them. Anyway, Elle's parents and her twin sister have done something and are basically bribing, or were bribing, her ex-husband. And when Elle gets a divorce, they're cut off from the payments that he was sending them, and so they become desperate, and there's a whole thread of things going through there. But given the fact that Landon is from a very famous family, you know, she has to deal with that, and she's really on, like, when she finds out exactly what's gone on, she does tell him, and she's worried about the fact that her parents will stop at nothing to get more money. And, you know, he happens to have more money than her previous husband, who was a pro athlete. So she's worried that they're going to try and target Landon and Stella, and she doesn't want that. It was a really enjoyable read, and I've enjoyed all of these books. So I mean, all Grumpy Sunshine books. I will say this one does have a content warning in here. 1 for verbally abusive partner, and 2 for the fact that we have the death of Landon's wife, which happens completely off page, but he's dealing with the guilt of that and feeling like it's his responsibility. So there's still some lingering trauma there, obviously, for him and for Stella. But yeah, otherwise it was delightful. And some of the school scenes are hilarious because Stella ends up teaching a sex ed class, and it was just really funny reading that scene. Ultimately, I feel like I had a reasonably decent spread with these books because I had one book that was 2 colleagues who end up in a relationship, one which was doctor patient, which was honestly the one that I was reasonably concerned about but really enjoyed in the end, mostly because Hallie doesn't take any of Vance's crap in the Potter. So that one was really good. And then, you know, a doctor and someone who is not at all involved in his medical world. That was a fairly good spread. It was not intentional, but you know, just the way that it turned out. But that is the end of this vlog of reading Dr. Romances. In fact, it's only been sort of like 26 hours of vlogging, but no, they were fun. And actually the last 2 books were fairly short. I think they're only just over 300 pages long. Did thoroughly enjoy myself. So if you have any other Dr. Romance recommendations, let me know down below. I'm contemplating signing up for the arc of the 4th book in the series for Dr. Heartless because it follows Landon's twin brother, and he was highly entertaining in this book, mostly because he's an irreverent playboy, and every now and then I enjoy reading those characters. I'm going to wrap this up. Remember, Rex down below. Otherwise, feel free to leave a heart emoji down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.